Salute, Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Great to be with you tonight. Another live stream as we continue our upcoming season preview. This is going to be episode 2. The main topic of tonight's show is what the odds are saying about the New York Knicks' chances of going all the way. We're going to talk about that. We'll go through the latest as well before we hit on the main topics. And as well, NBA 2K25 is going to drop later today in a matter of hours as well. We'll do a live stream tomorrow going through it all. But we'll go through some ratings news as well. We'll hit on some latest free agents. There's been some news on a couple of guys that were available and might not be available as well. I'll talk about the center position, the latest with that situation as well. And we're going to rock out with the best chat in the biz tonight. Great to be with you. CT, your host. And it's been a minute. I know it's been the quietest part of the off season, but things are about to heat up in a major way. And it's great to be with you guys. If you're new, like and subscribe to the channel for more Knicks buzz. Get your comments in tonight. We'll do some Q&A like we always do with the chat as well. Let us know if you're going to cop NBA 2K25 as well. But like I said, the main topic of tonight's show is we're going to get into what the odds are saying about the New York Knicks, right? We're going to go through the awards odds as well. MVP, sixth man, the Knicks' chances of winning the East, getting to the finals, winning it all as well. And we talk about the upcoming season ahead tonight like we always do. But man, we're in the month of September and we are less than a month away from media day, training camp. I'm buzzing right now, and I know you guys are too. Man, it's been way too quiet, and I've had my rest. I've had a holiday, and I hope everyone's doing well. But ready for a huge season. Buzzer beaters in the chat. Let's go. GWB. Let's go. Buzzer says 60 wins. Speak it into existence. Yeah, I like that, fam. I'm going to save my final wins total preview for the final preview show before the season begins. But we're going to get into what I think the Knicks will, be likely to do and how many wins we'll end up getting, right? But let's do a little roundup first and foremost, guys, on some of the latest news going around. It's a little quiet, like I said, but we'll get into the 2K stuff. Firstly, Evan Fournier, former Knick, has signed a deal, has departed the NBA, now joining Olympiacos after agreeing on a 2-year, $4 million deal, right? Great place for him to end his career. Solid deal. But yeah, salute to Evan on a long 12-year career, right? He's reached the 10-year threshold, to get, I think, all the NBA benefits as well. We'll go through the Knicks NBA 2K25 all-time highest ranked players as well. We'll see how many you agree or disagree with. But one of the players that was potentially linked to the Knicks, Davis Bertans, there's some news coming out of Lithuania that he's going to be preparing for the season with the Golden State Warriors, right? So that basically means, I think, Exhibit 10, a training camp deal as well. I don't think they can sign him right now because they might have to let someone go first. So, but it does look like Davis Bertans might be favoring staying or starting the season with the Golden State Warriors, right? Let us know your thoughts on that, right? There was some links to the Knicks. He would be a stretch 4. He could do some things, be a backup, obviously. He'd definitely be a backup, but, a guy who I think could be a solid pickup for the minimum, but not for the 5.2 million. Let us know your thoughts, guys. Get your comments in, like and subscribe to the channel. Great to be with you. We're going to go, long tonight. We'll do a live stream going into over an hour, and then we'll do another one tomorrow night, like I said, after I've had a chance to break down 2K. So we've got Brook Lopez, potentially him staying. The Bucks have no plans to trade him, according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN. So, yeah, I mean, Brook is aging. He's probably not, he hasn't really been linked to the Knicks. Would he be a really good ad for the Knicks? Definitely, but probably for a year or two maximum. His game is definitely starting to decline, fam. Another free agent that was available, Jetty Osman, looks like he might be headed outside of the NBA as well, with European powerhouse Real Madrid potentially looking at him as well. So yeah, I don't really think the Knicks were going to bring him in, but he was one of the better names available on the free agent market. And last but not least, right, this news has come out of a Lithuanian outlet on their native Jonas Valanciunas. Now, here's my thoughts on the current center situation, because there's been no real news recently about the Knicks adding somebody yet before the season begins. So I think the Knicks are comfortable with the current situation, running it into the season first, but then Leon Rose will assess it as the trade season begins in December. And I think Jonas Valanciunas, there's already talks that Washington will be looking to let him go, possibly get some assets for him at the deadline, right? This outlet is basically saying that there's a huge chance he ends up on the LA Lakers. Of course, they've been linked to JV quite a bit. But right now he's on a $9 million salary. It's quite trade friendly. If the Knicks do swing a trade for him, they would have to send out more salary than they take back to avoid getting hard capped. So basically that means the Knicks would have to send probably a $6 million Precious Achua salary, and they would have to make up another $4 million on top of that. So that could possibly be, I haven't crunched the numbers yet, so we'll do it later, but possibly Jericho Sims's $2 million, and then possibly Keita Bates-Diop's $2 million as well would get you to $10 million, for example. That might be enough to get it done with some trade, compensation as well, some draft compensation. Sorry, of course. And another name, Walker Kessler. There's been no new links. The Knicks and Jazz have had discussions in the past. Nothing recently, but the demands, the Knicks walked away after Danny wanted 2 first-round picks or more. I could see the Knicks doing it for maybe 1 first-round draft pick in regards to Walker Kessler, but not 2. I think that is the price where Leon Rose kind of, drew that line in the sand about, doing that for him. He would be a great ad. I think both of these guys would be the ideal ads for the Knicks at the trade deadline. Assuming that the need is still there. Obviously, Mitch is the starting center right now. Precious is the backup, but that's kind of makeshift, running it into the season. Of course, there's still training camp, guys. There's, Jericho Sims versus Ariel Hukporti. Those guys might battle it out for some preseason minutes. But Precious is better at the 4, right? He can do a job at the 5, but I don't think he's long term, and I don't think the Knicks see him as long term as well, as most of the fans agree, right? A lot of guys been hitting me up asking what's the latest and that, so that is where it's at, guys. I think no new news about the Knicks, adding somebody before the season begins, but that doesn't mean that it's basically that the Knicks are comfortable leaving it like that, so they will add someone. I'm assured of it, at some point throughout the season. Obviously we pray for great health for everybody, but Mitchell Robinson, there'll be a lot of eyes on him and how healthy can he stay. We talked about the minutes last episode as well. Check that out if you haven't already, in our first main season preview. Some of the minutes you might agree or disagree with, but here was my predictions, right? Mitchell Robinson down to 28 minutes, and Precious picking up 16 minutes with 4 minutes maybe for some small ball currently. But look, Ariel Hukporti, Jericho Sims, those 2 are the wild cards right now, because we know what Precious can bring. We know what Mitch can bring. Is that enough to really last to December? A huge factor could be health, obviously. Who else is available, and obviously how good can Hukporti or Jericho come in to the season, into training camp? How good can they look? But the center situation is the glaring weakness of the roster. But it's a great roster, and the Knicks have a really great chance to get to the finals, and we're going to talk about that now in the main topic of tonight's show. But let's shout out everyone in the chat. Daniel, what's up? Agent, Super Argo, Great to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. And man, I've been missing you guys as well. I've been missing talking about the Knicks, and I can't wait for the season to begin. Right, it's been way too quiet. Um, Buzzabita says not a gamer, but I'd like to know the rankings for 2K. Yeah, we got you covered, fam. We'll go through that. Um, can we trade our MLE? Says Buzzabita, asks Buzzabita as well. So our MLE, we can't trade it. We have to sign somebody. We have to use it and then trade it. But that, we can do that, But we've obviously got the 5.2 million still to spend. But based on the guys that we just went through, fam, and I'll bring it up once again. So it looks like Davis Bertans is going to be on the Warriors. Nothing concrete yet, but it looks like he's going to be in training camp with them. Lonnie Walker, I need to add as well, has signed a training camp deal with the Boston Celtics. That was a really, really good move. I think a no risk, high reward move for Boston. So, no need for the Knicks for Lonnie Walker because, he's a wing. We've got plenty of wings and shooting guards, but that was a really good ad. Isaac Okoro, I think he's still a restricted free agent, but, the Cavs can match. So I assume that he'll come back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Landry Shamet, although we don't need him, his production at that position, he could be one of the best players available. It looks like he is the best player available for the 5.2 million, and he would be trade bait by the December 15 period, and there'll be plenty of teams that you would think would be interested in him. So, should the Knicks sign him up and just use him in a trade for a center later? Omer Yurtseven looks like he's going to be in Europe. Jetty Osman as well. Bismack Biyombo, haven't really seen him a lot. His career's starting to set, but he could be insurance if you want to bring him in for a minimum. I'm not going to get mad at it. But the Knicks want to go bigger game hunting. It's going to be your Walker Kesslers. It's going to be your Jonas Valanciunases, I think, to really shore up the Knicks' chances of getting to the NBA Finals, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. What's up, Johnny? Great to see you. Hope you're well. I'm doing well. I'm buzzing right now with you guys. And let's get into the main topic of tonight's show as I bring it up. We're going to go through the odds. We're going to use FanDuel Sportsbook. So they're not sponsoring the show, but I have access to FanDuel. So we're going to go through that and look at the odds and see what they're saying about the Knicks' chances as well. Always bet responsibly. And let's talk about it. Firstly, I'll just check if we've covered everything. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit about 2K. They've released some all-time ranked odds. And Jalen Brunson did make it to the top 20 in the overall rankings, coming in at 13 with a 93 overall as well. This will tie into our odds now, but we've got a Milwaukee Bucks account that's tweeted this out, right? I think this is a great starting point, guys. Let me know if you agree with these potential teams being contenders, right? 7 teams he feels has a realistic chance of hoisting the Larry O'Brien. You got OKC, you got Minnesota, you got Denver Nuggets, you got Dallas Mavericks, you got Boston, you got the Bucks, and you got the Knicks in there. So Dear Muse, the Milwaukee account, paying respect to the Knicks, putting them in a realistic chance of winning the trophy in this season, right? I'll start by saying I would probably take out the Denver Nuggets. That might be controversy to some, but I just don't think they've improved enough to be, to win it. Could they contend? I guess. I would take out Milwaukee as well. So they've paid us respect. I'm going to repay them with some disrespect and take Milwaukee out. I don't think they're a realistic chance, but look, Giannis is a stud. We know that, but I just don't think they have enough around him. And then I might take out Dallas. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think Dallas are a worthy championship contender. I think OKC and Minnesota are above them. I know they made the NBA Finals, but backing it up is tough, right? Kyrie Irving's getting another year older too. So with that said, let's switch it over now officially to FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's take a look, guys, at whatever you want to see. We'll go through it in the chat. Get your questions in as well. Get your comments in. Like and subscribe to the channel. First off, I'll start with conference. The Knicks are coming in third favorite, according to FanDuel, for the Eastern Conference winner at plus 470, right? Slightly behind, very slightly behind Philly at 450, plus 450, and Boston, of course, at plus 145 as well. So right there, I disagree. I've got the Knicks second in my power rankings that I revealed a month ago, and nothing really changed on that front. Now, look, Philly have had a hell of an offseason, and I have paid them some props, right? They've had a great offseason, but the health of Joel Embiid, integrating new pieces, I just don't see them as good as the Knicks, right? Slightly behind, fairly behind, yes, but definitely not ahead of the New York Knicks. So I disagree with them. Let us know what you think. Buzzabita says Brunson should be top 10 at least. Absolutely. Guarantee it. Johnny says Fournier. Yep. Cut out for EuroLeague, not for the NBA right now. I think that's his level. I think, definitely the sun is starting to set on his career. He's lost a couple of steps, but he could still shoot it. Buzzer says Nuggets, Mavs, and Bucks can go. Yeah, we agree. We agree on that, fam. Definitely, I feel like the Nuggets are the closest out of all of them. Nikola Jokic, I mean, still probably the best player in the league. Obviously, he can carry a team as well, like we know. But yeah, it's tough, man. I think OKC definitely improved a lot. You got iHeart, you got Caruso as well. Younger players are going to improve, all of those things. Right, big season for OKC. I think it could be an OKC New York Knicks final, or obviously an OKC Boston Celtics final. They're my favorite to get out of the West. And on that note, I'll flick it up. The Thunder are favorite, fam, coming in at plus 300 to come out of the West. Dallas are interestingly, they're second. Minnesota all the way down to 4, right, coming in at plus 500. But it's very tight. Super close with those guys in the West, right? I mean, what are the Lakers doing there, fam? How are the Lakers the 6th best odds to come out of the West, right? Is the East stronger than the West right now? Right, let's look at it. You got Orlando coming in at 5, and Cleveland coming in at 6, right? Miami nowhere to be seen. Where the hell is Indiana? That's interesting, guys. Let me flip it up. Right. I mean, that's a little bit of disrespect. I mean, I hate Indiana with every fiber of my being, but there's no way Indiana, should be behind Miami and Cleveland. Right. What did Miami do? Absolutely zero. Cleveland, pretty much the same thing. Indiana did draft pretty well. They're a younger team coming up. I agree with Orlando. I think they deserve to be where they're at. And you got Milwaukee as well, who are basically just living off the past. Let's keep it a B, fam. Milwaukee Bucks, right? They've lost a couple of steps with Chris Middleton. They drafted a player that's not ready to contribute right away in the swing man that they picked up as well. AJ Johnson. I really, really like that pickup, but he's not ready to contribute for the Bucks. But yeah, absolutely. The big story is that the New York Knicks should be second, right? But haters are going to hate. This is the odds, I guess, but it's close, man. 450, 470. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Get your comments in. Now let's flip it over to the finals, right? The NBA championship winner, the New York Knicks, are coming in at the 5th best odds to win the title, right? We're in the top 5 chances of winning the title, ahead of Dallas. Equal, actually. So this is interesting. So we're slightly behind Philly to win the East, but we're even with Philly to win the NBA Finals, right? Um, we're basically tied with third, actually, with Denver also coming in at plus 900. So there we go, guys. Oklahoma, I think the Knicks will have equal chances, but obviously the West, things are poised and set up for OKC out West. And then Boston, I think, deserve to be favourites, rightfully so, but maybe not by that much. I think that is a little off. Plus 300. The Knicks coming in at plus 900. Fam. um, what do you guys think? Buzzer says, why is Lonnie Walker going unsigned? I think money, man. I think money, there's talk about expansion can't come soon enough. I think there's been a lot of roster spots filled already, but I think he's on a team, so he's on Boston for a training camp invite. It looks like he will end up on a team. It's just, he's just not going to get the money that he deserves right now. So yeah, it wasn't a guaranteed deal by reports. So that's the situation with Lonnie Walker, guys. But on that note, depth wise, I think the New York Knicks are deeper than Denver. Obviously, they've still got MVP candidate in Jokic. Look, Philly. What has to go right for Philly to be in the Knicks level? I think is health. I think Joel Embiid, Paul George. That's the big concern. If you're Philadelphia, right? You could say the same thing about the New York Knicks, I guess, but I'm more worried about Philadelphia's health, right? Jalen Brunson, the Knicks' best player, has proven to be very, very durable. Julius Randle as well. I know there's been a bit of talk about Julius Randle over the last 24 hours, but right now that's attached to his contract situation, He's into the final year of his contract. There's going to be that buzz. But Julius Randle is here, a big season ahead. He's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. And I think Julius Randle, as the second best player on this team, is very durable. Right? Last year's injury was just a freak injury. He fell awkwardly, he fell on the shoulder, but that's not a reflection of Julius having any kind of health concerns. So when you look at it, the Knicks' two best players are fairly durable. The Philadelphia's best two players are not durable, Joel Embiid and Paul George. So that is where I believe the New York Knicks should be ahead. And then you want to look at depth as the third reason. Mikal Bridges, as the third best player. They've got Tyrese Maxey. We've got OG Anunoby. So the Knicks' third and fourth best player basically will cancel out Philly's third best player, right? And then you've obviously got DiVincenzo, Hart, Deuce McBride, Mitchell Robinson. I mean, the Knicks got more depth than Philadelphia. That is a fact, right? Philly signed Kayla Martin. They brought aging Eric Gordon. They got Yabusele as well. That was a solid pickup from France. Had a good Olympics, but yeah, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. I can't wait to knock off Philly once again, guys. But yeah, with that one, I like that the Knicks are equal with Denver. I guess that's respect. But we're right there, man. We're in the conversation, right? There's nothing really to be too mad about. The odds makers see the Knicks as a legit championship winner, guys, which is great, right? Now to make the NBA Finals, as we look at it, the Knicks are coming in basically tied fifth, tied third, tied fifth. If you look at second, third, and fourth are all tied with Boston versus the Dallas Mavericks, Boston versus the Wolves, Boston versus the Nuggets. And then the most likely chance of the Knicks making the finals is going to be up against Oklahoma. Exactly what I predicted. To exactly what I think. I think Oklahoma get through versus the New York Knicks, man. Who would have thought that last couple of years ago if I'd said to you that the Knicks versus OKC could be for the NBA Finals? Buzzer agrees Philly and Denver don't have the same depth as us. Buzzer asks, do you think Tyrese will get exposed this season? I think he's going to be exposed in a certain way. He's going to be exposed that he's not a go-to offensive guy. I think he's a great player. He's a great facilitator and a great point guard. But I think Indiana, to help him out, I think the squad has to get better. Pascal Siakam is also a guy that's suspect. But they've got some good young talent coming up. So, yeah, like we saw in the finals, Tyrese can have really hot moments, but then I think he can go missing offensively. Some of that was health related. But, yeah, I just don't see him as the same scoring threat as your top dogs in the East, your Tatums, your Browns, your Randalls, your JBs, your Paul Georges, your Joel Embiids, right? He's not on that level offensively. So his game is going to be to help set up everyone, right, and get the wheels moving as well. But durability is a concern as well. Danny's in the building. Salute. The Knicks streets are buzzing, and training camp's coming up, Danny. We'll talk a bit about that later tonight as well. Some camp battles with the preseason coming up as well. And as Buzzer asked about the NBA Cup, we're about to hit on that in a second. But yeah, there are chances. So the New York Knicks coming in basically tied third to win the NBA championship, right? You got to like that. There's some games already. Opening night, Knicks Boston, right? The spread is already set, and it's currently at the New York Knicks plus 5.5, right? I would get on that. That's a good start. 5.5, I think. To hell with it. Give us even odds, and I think the Knicks will still win that one. But plus 5.5 head start. The New York Knicks are going to make a big statement on opening night. There was also Christmas Day. I'll get to that in a minute. Division. Let's talk about that now. Obviously, the New York Knicks tied second to win their division, tied with Philly once again. So neck and neck with the New York Knicks and Philadelphia, plus 350. Right, that's pretty solid. This is to win the division. But obviously, look, Boston, if the Knicks get off to a great start, I could see the Knicks really just not looking back, putting their foot down, full steam ahead. And I think there's a chance we could win the division still. Boston, I've talked about the championship hangover that comes with winning, and how tough it is, to back up again. So that is something to look out for, guys. That is real. It's tough to get up for a second championship in consecutive years. So just looking around the East, Milwaukee's favorite to win the Central Division. Brooklyn is obviously favorite to win to finish last in the division. You got Orlando; they should win the Southeast division. You got Detroit favorite to come last in the Central Division. You got OKC. That's going to be neck and neck, man. OKC, Minnesota, and Denver all in the same division. That's basically like the Knicks, Boston, and Philly being in the same division. Pacific, I think the Phoenix Suns will have to have a great year. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of pressure on them. Looks like they will be favorites to win the Pacific. And then, of course, Dallas should be favorites, should take out the Southwest division as well. Now, NBA Cup. Let's talk about that and the significance, guys. It's going to be the second iteration of the NBA Cup. On that, Buzzer asks, how much importance do I give the NBA Cup? Do we all give the NBA Cup? I think it's a novelty still, man. Honestly, I think winning something is always better than not. So I'm not going to trash on it like some people have. The facts are that the longer it goes, the more significance it's gonna grow, right? Just like the play-in tournament, all of those things. A lot of people trashed on that, and that became something really exciting that a lot of people really are glad is actually here now. So NBA Cup, I think it's going to be a win. Long term, I think the NBA is going to, find ways to incentivize it, add layers, and jazz it all up, and things like that. But I think right now it's the second year, and I think it's going to be, those playoff games are going to be cool in Vegas. The semifinals and the final. I think right now the actual trophy and the winner is looked at, as a novelty, and that's the way it is right now. I think the prize money is cool for the players on the end of the bench as well. When you're talking about 500K to the likes of like Tyler Kolek, Deuce McBride is grossly underpaid. He would love another 500K. We heard Julius Randle talk about, showing leadership, showing that he would love to win for those guys, so that they could, get a bit of extra cash. So that is cool. You love to see that. Players just want to win something as well, right? It could be bragging rights. It could be something that the players, the veterans, want to win. Just to add to their trophies. But with that said, I think the NBA does need to do more for it to grow. Maybe more money as more sponsors come. It is officially known as the Emirates NBA Cup now. So they've got themselves a really nice big sponsor, and I think that's important, right? The more sponsors you get, the more prize money. But at the end of the day, the Larry O'Brien is what's up. And I think the NBA Cup's going to be a thing where lesser teams are going to really start to gun to try to win it, like your Indianas, like we saw last season, guys. So I like it. I like the NBA introducing it, but right now I'm not really looking at it like the Knicks must win it. Those kinds of things. It's just I like the setup that the games aren't really extra unless you make it to the semi-finals. So I think that is good as well because we don't really want extra games on our guys too much as well. Queen's Place, salute, great to see you. Can't wait for the season to begin, and we're going to get into it tonight and talk about the Knicks' chances of winning it and training camp battles. Danny says, I can't wait to see Ariel Hukporti destroying Sims. LOL. Hey, I'll take if either or beasts, right? I'll take it because the Knicks need help. The Knicks need extra help at the center position, right? So that's the NBA Cup. The New York Knicks are coming in third favorite or tied third favorite at plus 1,000, fam, behind OKC and Boston. Also, once again, tied with Philly. So let us know your thoughts. Right now, the odds are having trouble separating the New York Knicks from Philly, but I got confidence that once the games begin, they'll see that there's a difference, right? Joel Embiid did not look great overall at the Olympics, guys. He had a solid gold medal game. I'll give him that, but outside of that, he struggled largely in stretches adapting to that game with a lack of spacing. Now, my biggest concern over Joel Embiid is health in the NBA, right? It's a marathon. And is Philadelphia going to risk playing him heavy minutes throughout the main season? Right? I doubt it. Because he's never healthy when it comes to it. So, I mean, the streets would be buzzing if the Knicks could win the NBA Cup. I'll take it, but it's not my priority right now. It's the NBA championship, fam. Now, if we look at some of the NBA Cup games, Knicks at Philly, right? So Philly coming in slight favorite. The spread is plus 2.5 for the New York Knicks. So the Knicks slight underdogs traveling to Philly for the first game of the NBA Cup. Let us know your thoughts on that one. Right, that's an easy take on that one, guys. Easy take. Again, bet responsibly, but I like that one. Now let's take a look at the season awards. Guys, MVP. Jalen Brunson, did last year change people's opinion, right? But obviously, odds aren't always set by personalities, media reports, all of that. Odds are usually set by how many people are actually putting their bread down. All right, so this is what the people think. Jalen Brunson coming in plus 1,600, right? So he is seventh favorite outright, higher than Victor Wembanyama, to take home the real MVP, right? Slightly behind Ant-Man, Greek Freak. You got Embiid, SGA, the Joker number 2. Favorite right now, slight favorite, is Luka Doncic, right? Is that how you see it? Is that the order that you see? I'll give you my thoughts. I think that's respect. Obviously, Brunson is higher than Jason Tatum right now, so people are betting, right, with their hearts. I think Knicks fan base getting behind Jalen Brunson on that, but obviously people see it as a very realistic chance. Julius is coming back, but I could still see Jalen Brunson being a top 3 MVP candidate. Giannis, I don't think he's going to win it. Ant-Man, I think, has a real shot to win it. Obviously, when a young player is ascending, man, the sky's the limit. Embiid, I don't think he'll be healthy enough. I think SGA has a real chance to win it as well. And then obviously, I think it'll be down to the top 2, Luka and Nikola Jokic, man. Those guys just put up insane numbers when they play for their teams, right? Absolutely carry their teams on their backs because it's a drop off after them, right? If you look at other guys, Brunson has really good teammates. Jokic, Jamal Murray looks like he's starting to decline. And then, of course, Luka still got Kyrie, so that could be an issue for him and his chances to win it. Buzzer says, I hate the play-in, at least the way it's constructed. CT, what changes would you like to see the NBA make for the play-in tournament? The NBA play-in tournament, I think it's okay the way it is. You don't want to extend the games too much because, you want to get into the real thing. There's other ways you could do it. I guess you could play a mini series. That could be more exciting. A best of 3 series where a team must win 2 games against each other. That could be something. I like the idea of playing at a neutral venue. That's just me. I think that's something that could be cool. Send all the play-in teams to Vegas again and have them all play in a neutral venue, because I do think the home court really gives teams that extra edge. That's all I got for it right now, but I'll think about it. I'll get back to you if anything else comes into my mind. But shout out, love the questions, guys. Drip Moore, what's up? Great to see you, man. We're going to be buzzing in just a couple of weeks. Right, I can't wait. When NBA 2K drops that the season is about to kick off, man. I can't wait to play it later tonight, right? And see what the new look Knicks look like in it, fam. We're going to go through the ratings later tonight. But look, season awards, that's the MVP. Jalen Brunson getting respect. He's coming in with the 7th best odds to win the MVP. Rookie of the Year, of course, to no one's surprise, it's going to be no New York Knick really factoring in at the top, but Reed Shepherd and Zach Edey are at the top of that one. But NBA Defensive Player, right? I found this really interesting, guys. I found that OG Anunoby, is in the mix, but obviously they've got Mikal Bridges not far behind. So OG Anunoby, right there, equal with Alex Caruso, slightly behind Mobley. But you got the leaders Davis, Jaren Jackson, Bam, Chet, Rudy, and Victor. Victor coming in at minus 190. That's insane, right? I know he has a great chance, but those are some crazy odds, guys. So the guy's expecting a huge year for Wemby. Um, would I have OG any higher? Mikal Bridges? I mean, look, Anthony Davis, Jaren Jackson, those guys have been, putting in, they've been around that, defensive player for many, many years. But OG is obviously, health is just the only thing holding him back, I think, right? I could see him being maybe a plus 2,000, right? I think, he could have the same level of impact as a Jaren Jackson, as a Bam Adebayo, but he's just got to play 70 games, you know? Um, he's ahead of Joel Embiid. He's ahead of Giannis. So that's quite significant. Mikal Bridges is right there as well, slightly behind Drew Holiday. Uh, here we go, slightly behind Drew Holiday at plus 10,000. So that's a sneaky good value. That's good value for Mikal Bridges, but we've got so many defensive wings now that it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to really stand out, among ahead of the likes of these other guys at the top. But I'll take that the New York Knicks' best team defense in the league. I'll take that over one individual player winning it. Let me know what you guys think as well. Michael Drake, Prezi, salute, salute, salute. Great to see you. Michael says Luka can be on top every year. I believe that Jalen will have a better career year than Luka. Amen, brother. I agree. I think Jalen is a better teammate. He moves the ball, but Luka's a crazy scorer. So yeah, that's that situation, right? I'll take team over any individual awards all day, every day. These individual awards are really cool. When the season's over and you just, you want our guys to get acknowledged. You want our guys to get the respect that they deserve. But it's team first. It's Larry O'Brien. I want to be the last team standing. Right? I don't care if that means that Brunson doesn't win the MVP. I'm sure he would think the same. Queen's Place says, saw a small clip of Julius today. He looks healthy. Yeah, that's really great to hear. And yeah, everything that I've been seeing as well looks like Julius is ready for a huge season. He's had plenty of time to rest the legs, rest his shoulder as well, of course. And just think about, yeah, like that stretch that he had. January last season was great, and the way he has chemistry already with Brunson and OG. Really, Mikal Bridges is just the newer piece. But I think the fact that he's already played with the Villanova guys, I think the synergy and the chemistry of these guys is going to be off the charts early on. Now, touching on most improved, I haven't seen any New York Knicks get close to the top. So we've got RJ there. We've got Victor. Obviously, he's going to be the runaway favorite. I think Paolo is a really good bet. Scotty Barnes, it would probably be a no. Quickly, I think Quickly's kind of shot up a little bit. He's shown that growth already. I don't know how much more Quickly can show us, but I'll never count that kid out because he's hungry. He works hard. I mean, man, Jalen Green is a really good bet. Jalen Green is a really good bet. Same with RJ, same with Quickly. I think what I said. Well, you got Suggs, you got Advida. This is a little bit of disrespect for the New York Knicks. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo had his shot to start. He probably should have won it last season. Do you think, let us know, guys, comments, get your comments in. Do you think any New York Knick, or which New York Knick do you feel, should factor into the most improved? Right. Deuce McBride has quite a bit that he could grow to. Um, I mean, most of the other starters are established. Josh Hart's established already. Dante coming in maybe second. Deuce McBride number one. Let us know if I'm missing anybody. What do you think with that one? And let's talk about the next award, which is six man. And best believe there's going to be plenty of New York Knicks factor into this one. As you see, fam, Josh Hart coming in right now with the fifth best odds to take out the six man of the year at plus 1100. And Dante DiVincenzo not far behind, fam, coming in at seventh at plus 1200. Right, really good value right now as well. Bet responsibly, but this is one of my probably safest bets that I think Hart or DiVincenzo, assuming that they meet the six-man threshold, which is to not start too many games. So assuming that they come off the bench for enough games, I think you'll see either Josh Hart or Dante DiVincenzo finish in the top three, at least, maybe top two. One of them should finish in the top three or top two, I feel, because the Knicks are going to win enough games. Those guys are going to get plenty of minutes, that Tibbs loves those guys, as well as they deserve those minutes as well. And then, game-wise, that they're going to produce, that they're going to produce, I think Dante's probably going to average 16, still his 16, 17 points off the bench if he can get his 26 minutes. Josh Hart, he's going to stuff the stat sheet. Guys, he's going to get those boards. He's going to get maybe double doubles, 10 points, 10 rebounds in 20 minutes, right? And also another reason is those guys are going to be handling the rock a lot off the bench as well, assuming they play alongside Deuce McBride, who can play off ball. Dante's going to get plenty of reps on the ball. So will Josh Hart, in terms of running it up the court, facilitating a little, all of those things. I think those two will factor in heavily, fam. So I'm definitely going to place a little bit on a Hart DiVincenzo six man as well. And what the heck is Karis LeVert doing there as well, right? Karis LeVert, I don't know, man. Dante should be way ahead of him, right? That lets you know that it's a good bet. So if you are betting, take a look at that one. With that, I mean, everyone's just in love with Wembanyama. He's got his own specials category right now, but we'll skip over that. We've got some season specials. So, man, this is outrageous, but there's any player to score 82 points in a regular season game, you can get plus 5,000 on that one. Let's see if there's any Brunson ones to go through. No, there isn't. There's a Tyrese Halliburton to record 25 assists. There's all sorts of custom bets that you can look at. But NBA season stat leaders now. Guys, salute. Give us your thoughts on this. JB coming in at 7th best odds, right, to win points per game leader. Right. It's going to be tough because Luka, he's going to get his points, SGA as well. Brunson's more unselfish than those guys, so I wouldn't take that one. But again, that lets us know that, Brunson is among the best scorers in the league, the best scorers in the game. So that's respect right there. Rebounding leaders. Sabonis loves to stat pad. You got Mitchell Robinson, man, the block nest monster. Salute to him. Coming in as the top Nick at plus 20,000. Right, so he's basically basically the top 20 odds. Little slept on. I think Mitchell Robinson could be higher, but then the durability factor probably comes in a little bit to that one too. Michael Drake says, CT, I put my 6-man vote in for Dante. I love that, man. That's great. Salute. Um, Buzzer says the play-in should only be used if the 6th or 7th seed are below 500. That's a good one. That's a good thought, fam. So you're only allowing, if you're below 500, people to get in. If the 6th or 7th seed are below 500. I mean, yeah, we are kind of rewarding mediocrity. Let's keep it a buck. But it's all about the money now, fam, and letting more teams compete. I think they're setting the table for more teams to come in. Because if you look at it, let's say Vegas, whenever they do end up coming in, but let's say Vegas and Seattle are the next two teams, Vegas and Seattle, then you're going to have to probably increase the playoff spots, right? Because there's going to be too many teams not make the playoffs. It's going to be bad for the product, So I think this play-in thing, maybe when the expansion happens, maybe it's Mexico City, maybe there's other teams, but when it does happen, I think the NBA will make sure that maybe the play-in stays and maybe two additional spots get added, one for the East, one for the West, and maybe the top 9 teams make the playoffs, and maybe you extend the play-in to 10 and 11, right? Because there's so many teams tanking, and as well, I know they've adjusted the tanking odds, but this year is going to be insane, guys. Just like the Wembanyama year, it's going to be crazy with Cooper Flag. He's a real difference maker for a franchise. Let's take a look at threes coming in. Dante DiVincenzo, here we go. So Dante is coming in at plus 10,000 for threes made per game leader. Now, obviously, Steph, Luka, these guys are starting. Dante's not going to be starting. But if he was starting, I think he would have a really good chance. Percentage-wise, he was among the best last season that we know. So that is the threes made per game leaders as well. We've got blocks. The New York Knicks struggled in blocks last season, right? Mitch is our best chance, but he's not factoring into the top odds. Steals, yes sir. OG Anunoby coming in at number 6, 6th best odds at 12 plus 1200 for OG Anunoby. Man, he's going to be eating up some steals. He's going to be a demon defensively for us. Where is Mikal Bridges? Scroll down. You got Dante there. Maybe I've missed it. Bridges. No, Bridges isn't there. So Bridges not factoring in early in that one. So that is the season leaders. 6th man is the Knicks' best chance. Jalen Brunson MVP, along with the threes made as well. Let's talk about regular season wins now, guys. Here's where I'll give you my first prediction of the season. We'll talk about it more in my final prediction show. But New York Knicks, FanDuel Sportsbook have set the New York Knicks over under at 53.5. Fam, that is where it's at. 53.5. You taking the over or you taking the under on that? Let me know. I know it's early. I'll give you a mulligan if you want to change it before the season begins, because obviously preseason training camp injuries can happen and things like that. But right now, I think that's pretty close, man. I have the New York Knicks winning 55. And I came to that weeks ago, fam, basically after free agency. For me, 55, after they got Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby extended, Julius Randle's here still, and Jalen Brunson, obviously coming off, an MVP caliber year. So 55, I'm still taking the over on that. Queen's Place in the chat says over as well. I love that. Let us know your thoughts. 53. I've actually had a couple guys in the chat previously say 53 as well, so they might be split. But I think that's a pretty good shout for a FanDuel. That might change if we start winning all of our preseason games, but get into it before the season begins, right? Last year it was at 50. It was 40. Last year it was 45, wasn't it? 45 it was, and I predicted basically 47 wins, and we got 50. So I cashed in last season, and another opportunity to cash in again. Drip Moore says 67 wins! Exclamation. Buzzer says way over as well. Hashtag 60 wins, guys. Get onto it. 53. Good chance at minus 110. 67 Drip Moore, and Michael Drake says CT 62 games. Right. Very optimistic, but yeah, I was about to say exactly what Queen's Play said. Health, fam. It's not always a reflection on talent. The over-under prediction sometimes, attached to health as well. If the New York Knicks are healthy, I could easily see us winning 57 to 60 plus. One of the factors are obviously there's chemistry with the squad already, so we should get off to a really good start. But we'll talk about the schedule, the beginning of the season. It's a kind of a tough start. But the other thing I'll factor in is the tankathon, fam. After the trade period, there'll be a heap of teams basically hang it up for the season for Cooper Flag. So, the Knicks are going to be, basically, stacking up the wins this season. And then if you look at our main rivals, guys, and you look at Philly and you look at Boston, right, to start the season, I mean, the New York Knicks have a lot of national games. We'll be hyped for that. The players will be getting up. Only 2 West Coast trips. One of them's a 4 game, so that's not too bad either. And then you start the season well with Boston, Indiana, Cleveland, and Miami, and that sets the tone, fam. That really sets the tone for a great season ahead, right? So there we have it, 53.5, and I'm taking 55 wins right now, based on our center position being a little, needing some solidification, and then obviously health as well. But that is where it's at. 53, I'm taking the overs, right? To make the playoffs, the New York Knicks have the second best odds. Why is that? Right, ahead of Milwaukee, ahead of Cleveland, ahead of Orlando. The second best odds to make the playoffs is because Tom Thibodeau, fam, as well. He pushes, he guns to win these regular season games. Right? Christmas Day, the New York Knicks heavy favorites. The spread is minus 9.5 for the New York Knicks to defeat the San Antonio Spurs. So I like that one. We're basically a 10-point favorite to cover the spread, which is minus 9.5, right? The New York Knicks should be buzzing by then. And then we've got some Bronny James specials as well. So going back to this guy, I think the New York Knicks, I realistically see 4 teams winning the championship, 2 out west, 2 out east. I think it's Oklahoma and Minnesota and their years to win it. I think Denver, they're going to fall short. They've missed their time now. Dallas as well. Teams that make the NBA Finals and lose, it's very difficult to get back there again. Kyrie's aging. We'll see. But realistically, I think it's OKC and Mini. And in the East, I think there's only 2, fam. I think it's Boston and the New York Knicks. But obviously, if the Knicks face Philly in round 1 or round 2 again, it's going to be an all-out war with that one. But It's interesting that this Bucks account doesn't even see Philly as a realistic chance, right? And I don't see Milwaukee as a realistic chance either. But of course, they're going to pay respect to their team. So that is where that's at. Now, let's talk a little bit about the 2K situation, right? It's about to drop in a matter of hours. I think it's going to drop 5 a.m. Eastern time in New York on the East Coast for early access if you have pre-ordered the game. But Jalen Brunson coming in at 13, right? 93 overall. You could have him ahead of Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, I guess top 10 after the season he had, but 93 is a solid grade, I think. Now, there's been some news about the all-time team. Let us know your thoughts on this, guys. We've got the highest ranked New York Knick of all time, Walt Clyde Frazier, coming in at 97 overall. Right. Salute to the GOAT. Salute Walt. He's still my Knicks GOAT. But obviously Patrick Ewing, skill set wise, when he was at the peak of his game, Patrick Ewing was one of the most skilled Knicks of all time. At 7'1" from Georgetown, man, he could finger roll, soft touch. Patrick Ewing's game would fit in today's modern game really, really well, because Patrick Ewing was one of the most original stretch fives. Right, multiple seasons averaging 30 plus a game. Right, Patrick coming in at 95 overall. Let us know what you guys think. The third highest Knick overall was Willis Reed. Right, rest in peace, and salute to the captain coming in at the top 3 Knick of all time, 94 overall. Right, there's a lot of grittiness, heart in that. Willis could obviously do it all as well. The enforcer, he could shoot, rebound, protect the rim, all of that. Then Carmelo Anthony, skill set wise, coming in at 92 overall, right? The 4th highest Knick of all time in 2K25, right? At the peak of his game offensively, man, there was no stopping Carmelo Anthony, man. You just had to double team him, triple team him as well. I remember one of my favorite Carmelo games was against Boston. You know, when we first made the playoffs, the game in Boston, where basically he had Tony Douglas, Ronnie Turiaf. He had a ragtag roster in that one, and he almost willed the Knicks to a victory. Richie Guerin, man, salute, right? He is a beast. Richie Guerin, 92 overall as well. I've played him, and he's really, really good in the game. Richie Guerin, Dave DeBuscher at 92 as well. H2O, Allen Houston is coming in at 89 overall, man. One of the best shooters in New York Knicks history as well. Houston, Amari Stoudemire, 89 overall, right? Came to the New York Knicks after his prime, but was still a beast in that first season before injuries derailed. Stat. Here's where I disagree a little bit. I think Bernard King, 89 overall. Maybe it's because he was just a scorer and not as well-rounded. But 89, I think you could definitely look at Bernard King as someone who should be over 90. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. And then Michael Ray Richardson coming in at 89 as well with that one, guys. What do you guys think with that? Johnny says, is Dante a better shooter than IQ? Absolutely, fam. I think Dante DiVincenzo is one of the best shooters in the league. IQ is really good. He can shoot off the bounce, but he's got to establish more consistency. I think Dante DiVincenzo was awesome last season, and he is a guy who only needs a second of daylight, man, and a quick release, high release as well. Too. Buzzer beater with a super chat. Let's go. We're hyped, fam. That now That deserves a horn. Type New York. If you think the Knicks get 60 wins, man, put your money where your mouth is. Buzzer Beater has done that. Appreciate you. Great to see you tonight. And good looks for hitting us up as well with some questions. But yeah, 60 wins. I think health is the only thing that's going to stop the Knicks from getting close. But yeah, I can't wait for preseason because there's a few things that I really want to look at and break down. Obviously, Julius Randle's return and playing off of Brunson and OG and McCall and how those guys all play off each other is going to be the biggest thing. But obviously, the battle of the center spot as well is going to be huge. Camp battles, Mitchell Robinson and the health of Juju. Yeah, that is something to really change the course of the season. Because yeah, we need guys that can stay healthy, right? And then we can come for Boston, fam. I really think that the Knicks Boston is this is gonna be the start, the rekindling of an old school rivalry between the two clubs. Obviously, we ended the Paul Pierce, the Ray Allen, and the Garnett era in Boston. We ended it, fam. We sent them to Brooklyn as well, where Boston fleeced the Brooklyn Nets as well. And I don't think any New York Knicks fan can forget that, right? That was the start of the New York Knicks resurgence with Melo and Stat coming. But this is really going to be long term. Like the way the Knicks are situated for long term winning, and the way that the Boston Celtics are also set up to win now with KP, Drew Holiday, Derek White, and the Brown and Tatums of the world. Man, it's going to be box office, man. Every game is going to be on national TV, and I think it's going to be absolutely must-watch TV. The New York Knicks and Boston, and how we stack up, guys. I'm going to add my New York to that as well. Michael Drake, Buzzer have put it down, man. Put it down. New York in the chat. 60 wins. Let's go. Buzzer says blasphemy as well. Bernard King and Michael Sugar Ray Richardson should be well over 90. Absolutely agree. I think Amari at 89 in his Phoenix prime, I can get it. But not for the New York Knicks one. With that, so yeah, like I said, we'll be live later tomorrow, and I'll give my thoughts, and we might even stream a little bit of 2K25. We'll see how it goes, fam. But it's been a great show to break down that the New York Knicks are among the favorites to take out the Larry O'Brien, fam, according to FanDuel Sportsbook and many other sports books. 53.5 wins over under, fam. It's just going to go up. So if you are planning to put something down, then get onto it if you do, right? 6th man of the year, I think great chance. Hart DiVincenzo finish in the top 3 as well. And it's been great breaking it down with you all. Part 2 this has been of our season preview. Now we get into the nitty gritty in the next few shows, fam. Starting with player and player. So I want to start it off with Julius Randle as my first player preview for the season. Specific show dedicated to Julius Randle and how he can, have a huge impact on the squad and their chances to win the trophy this season. Right. Obviously, we miss Julius so much, and I think we are playing in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals at least, maybe the NBA Finals, if Randle was healthy. Right, so that is huge, but the new pieces we've added as well, right, this is go time, fam. We're going to win the Larry O'Brien, I think, in the next year or two. I'm really confident the more I look at this squad and how deep it is. I think we've got all the pieces we need. Probably a little upgrade at the center spot for insurance will be best, but Leon Rose will address that as well. So shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys in the buzz tonight. Chesv, let's go. And Buzzer Beater for the super chat. Appreciate that. A lot of things planned for this upcoming season. A lot more content from myself and EJ. And stay well, stay blessed, everyone. And we'll see you real soon. Peace. The streets are buzzing.